Welcome to Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando, the podcast for women in business on a mission, sharing ideas to support you to grow, lead, and thrive. Now, here's your host, Caterina Rando.
Welcome back to another info-packed, exciting episode of the Expand Your Fempire podcast. I'm your host, Caterina Rando, and I am blissing to be with you today. I just had a conversation with a wonderful client. One of the joys of my work is I get to meet so many amazing women. And this client said to me, you know what, Caterina? I've been in business 10 years. It's taken me 10 years to get to a $3 million company. Now I want to 10x my business. And in the next 3 years, I want to get to 30 million. That was an exciting discussion that we were having. What this client is talking about is scaling her business. And one of the things as women we think about often is sales, but we don't necessarily think about scaling. Now, you may not want a $30 million company. You may not want a $3 million company. You may not want a $1 million company. Wherever you are, though, I'm sure you want more than what you've got. More clients, more people to serve, more ease and effectiveness in your business. And what I see with women is that often we're not paying enough attention to the numbers in our business because we did start our business because we want to be of service. But guess what? The more you gain revenue in your business, the more you scale in your business, that usually means the more people or clients that you're serving. And so today, we're going to not only talk more about numbers and growing your revenue, but we're also going to talk about several strategies that I use, that my clients use to grow and scale their businesses. I want to encourage you, get your pencil and paper ready, be ready to write some of these things down because there's going to be ideas in here that you're going to want to implement right away. Let's get started with the super tips. One of the things that I encourage my clients to do is to set aside a couple of days at the end of the month to really do what we would call sales blitzing, which is really focused on selling. In fact, today I did a 2-hour blitz with some of my clients. I do a 2-hour sales blitz most weeks, about 3 or 4 times a month. And what this is something, my friends, you can set up with your friends, you can set up with your clients. It doesn't necessarily have to be sales, whatever it is that you're focused on with your clients, to have them really be focused on growing their revenue or getting something else accomplished that they want to get accomplished before the end of the month. And what a blitz looks like is everyone joins in on a Zoom room. We take 5 to 10 minutes for everyone to share what they want to accomplish in the next 2 hours. And then we turn off our videos and our microphones. And then we start doing our thing in our own office. Reach outs to book sales appointments, calls to people that we want to get appointments with, reach outs to invite people to your workshops or something else you're doing. And this is very, very effective. Today, I did this, as I said, with some clients. One lady did 18 reach outs. One lady did 25 reach outs. One lady booked 3 speaking engagements. One lady had 3 people say yes to come to her workshop. And the reason why I host these every week with my clients is because I find that most women business owners are not spending enough time selling. And there are 5 things that are your job as a business owner. And I'm going to remind you of those right now because I do want you to take a look and see, are you doing everything or are you only doing what is your job? And your job is selling. Unless you have a sales team, you're the salesperson. Your job is selling. Your job is strategy, doing the planning, doing the calendaring. We don't often think of calendaring as part of strategic planning, but your calendar is one of the best strategic planning tools that you have. Selling, strategy, of course, serving your clients, right? That's a very important part. That's your job. And then there's two more things. One of them is speaking. Now, even if you don't consider yourself a speaker, hosting a clubhouse room, doing a podcast, doing an information session via Zoom, doing a Q&A session via Zoom, this is all speaking. You're the face of your business, not in every case, but in many of your cases. Okay, so that's speaking, selling, serving your clients, strategy, and the last thing that's your job is self-care. Now, many of you are probably more experts than me at self-care. I want to point it out, though, that this is your job as a CEO because you cannot sell, you cannot scale your business if you are not having vitality, if you are not blissing, meaning having a good mental state and good mindset in your business. And often when I talk to women about growing their business, one of the biggest things that's going to help you grow your business is to get a team. If you don't have a team, you cannot scale your business. Doesn't matter how hard you work. You are super good at doing a lot. You are probably a good multitasker. You have a lot of vitality. My friend, you cannot do the work of 8 women, okay? You can probably do the work of 2 or 3 or 4, but you can't do the work of 8. And not that 8 is the magic number. Okay, super tip alert, super tip alert, super tip alert. You only want to do what you seek to master as a business owner. Everyone, please hear that. That's a very important guiding principle. You only want to do what you seek to master. So what that means is that unless you want to become a master graphic designer, don't be doing the graphic design. Unless you want to become a masterful editor of video, don't be the one editing the video. This is really important. So look at this. By the way, do you want to be a master bookkeeper? If not, what are you spending 10 hours a month on that for? Instead, let's bring in other experts and ideally other people that their business is their area of mastery for you to hire. For example, I have a bookkeeper that is her business. I meet with her every month for 1 hour. We go over all the numbers. We make sure she's put everything in the right place. And she every month shows me the profit and loss statement from QuickBooks. And she spends about 10 hours a month getting all the numbers from the CRM, from Venmo, Cash App, our bank account. So there's all these different places that money's coming in, not like before where you just had one thing. There's a lot more to manage, and that's going to take you a lot of time. Get someone who that's their mastery. You pay them a little bit, they're mastering their thing, they're helping you stay on top of your thing, and then you can focus on your 5 jobs. If you simply take away this one guiding principle that we've discussed so far, only do what you seek to master in your business, that will support you with your selling and your scaling. Because what I know is that women that say, Caterina, that sounds good, but I can't afford that. Then I say, well, my friend, how many sales conversations did you have this week? And you know what the answer is usually? The answer is usually 0 or 1. Not enough to scale a business. Look at that right now and ask yourself, how many sales conversations did you have this week? Now, by the way, here's the other answer I sometimes get when I ask that question. Well, I sent out my newsletter. Well, I worked on my email sequence. Well, I posted my event in some groups. Okay, my friends, very important distinction. All of that is marketing. None of it is sales. Marketing is when you let the world know how awesome and amazing your company and you are. Sales is when you invite someone to have a conversation with you about whether or not you can serve them. Very, very important. And one of the other things I see for some women is that they don't want to set sales goals at all, or they want to set very basic goals, like meaning whatever they did last month, okay, we're going to make that the goal. There's not enough stretching. And I want to encourage you to set a goal that has you stretch, that has you look at it every day and ask yourself, what am I going to do to get there? And I want to tell you something. Today, actually, I have exceeded my goal for this month, which was 10K higher than the goal I did last month. And now I'm like, okay, then, well, I've already hit it. I've got 7 days left. What else am I going to do? So now I'm going for the next goal, which is 5K more. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't have any hot prospects that I feel are going to come in right now. You know what, though? If you don't stretch, you keep running your business the way you've been running it. So I want you to ask yourself, have you been stretching? And have you been putting attention every month on your numbers? Right now, if I say to you, hey, my friend, how close are you to your goal, your sales goal for the month? First, do you have a sales goal? Second, do you have to find a piece of paper or look at your computer to tell me where you are in relation to that goal? Because what I know is if you do not know off the top of your head what your goal is and where you are in relation to it, then what I know is that you are not every day focused on that goal. Now, you might say, Caterina, I'm just here to serve. I'm not wanting to be like a big salesperson. Guiding principle alert, guiding principle alert. If you can't sell, you can't serve. One of the things that women are concerned about is being too salesy. And let's be very clear. When you're operating from a place of integrity, when you know that you will never invite someone to be your client who is not a good match, your integrity is your protection, and you don't ever have to worry about sharing your opportunity or sharing how you can help, because you know in your heart, and you've seen it hopefully proving to yourself in your business, that you only invite people to be your client that are a good match, that you put the relationship over the revenue. And my friends, I like to grow my revenue, but I will never grow my revenue at the expense of the person who I'm inviting to join as a client. If they're not a good match, if they're not ready, many people I talk to are not far enough along in their business for me, because I don't help people that are figuring out what they want to do. I don't help people that are not already having clients. They're in getting going mode. They're not my right client. So very, very important, everybody, that you don't hesitate to share your amazingness, because you know you would never invite someone to be with you as a client that's not the right match. You know, I'm at about 29 years of running this business. My first business was I owned a cafe and catering business. And then I came into this business of helping women grow their businesses. And the biggest mistake I made in the early years, I did have a business coach, but I didn't have a mentor who had done what I sought to do. And since I have started to always have a business coach that is skilled in the areas where I want to develop more mastery, that has really helped my business a lot. And I do encourage everyone to have a business coach or a mentor that is ahead of you, and not only ahead of you, but has expertise in areas that you don't have as much expertise. Like, for example, I am not only good at speaking, but I'm good at getting booked for speaking. I'm good at how to do my own events. I do my own retreats. I run my own group programs. When I picked my current coach, it was very much based on the values by which she runs her business. And that's an important thing that I want to say. You want to always have a mentor or a business coach that has the same values as you. That is a very important guiding principle, my friends. And how do you figure that out? Well, you get to know them a little bit. And the other thing is that I picked a mentor who was very good at scaling, very good at systems. And as a result, that helped me be better at it because I was going to her for the areas where I wanted to improve. And that's something else that you really, really want to look at. Pick a mentor with the same values that has had a lot of success in the areas that where you want to improve. There's a lifetime supply of coaches out there, and you want to be discerning and create a criteria for the kind of coach or mentor that you're looking for. For me, as I said, they have the same values as me. Also, they are doing things that not only I'm doing, but things that I am comfortable doing. Now, not to say that we shouldn't stretch or be willing to be uncomfortable, but there's a lot going on in the marketplace that you may or may not think is on brand for you. For example, someone said to me today that they're going to start using bots in their business. Bots are when the computer responds to different things for you. And that's something my team and I have really avoided, bots. We don't feel that that's on brand for us because I'm really about personal connection. And even though we have a big business, I know all my clients by name. I know what their businesses are, and also a lot for my potential clients. So we've been talking about scaling the business. And one of the things that we've discussed is the importance of a team to focus on your areas of mastery and get a team to support you with the rest. Now, you may feel that it's not time for a team, but I'm going to tell you that you actually want to start building your team a little bit before you feel it's time, meaning it should stretch you a little bit to get your first virtual assistant, get your first bookkeeper. By the way, in my opinion, these are your first two hires. And when I say hire, I don't mean an employee. I mean someone who you can hire in the beginning for a few hours a month. And then as your business grows, you can hire them for more time. These are the first two to start with. The other thing is that a lot of people talk about, oh, use Fiverr and get your graphic design for $5. Now, if you can find an amazing graphic designer on Fiverr, bing, bing, I am blissing to hear you say that. And if you can find an amazing VA for $8 or $6 or whatever it is, bing, bing, do it. But you don't want to be focusing on the dollars at the expense of your business. Because what we're looking for, super tip alert, is we are looking for vendor partners. We are not just looking for a graphic designer to make us a flyer or something for us to post. We're not just looking for an admin assistant to do a little project for us. We are looking for vendor partners. And I can tell you, recently I did my summit. I do an Expand Your Fempire Summit. We did it at the end of the year. And we send out these lovely boxes with crowns in them and pens and cards and all kinds of things for the ladies to use at the event. And we put stickers on the front that said, I'm expanding my Fempire. And my graphic designer sent me in the mail 200 stickers, and they were due to arrive the day before my on-the-ground assistant was here to send out the boxes. And I reached out to her in the morning. I said, Barbara, the stickers are not here. And she said, okay, well, let me check. She checked. She said, hey, the stickers were delivered on Tuesday. I said, no, my friend, they were not delivered. Then I talked to my mailman. You may know that I have a very close relationship with my mailman, Antonio. He is a vendor partner through and through. And he said to me, "Oh no, Caterina, that was my day off. Tuesday was my day off. Let me look around. Let me see if they're anywhere." He found actually the empty box that the stickers were in with Barbara's return address on it. Here's my point. Barbara lives in another city. She whipped up those stickers for me. She drove them over to my house that evening. Must have taken her 3 hours, not including probably the 3 hours to make the stickers. Did not charge me a dime extra. Did not give me any grief, because she's not just a vendor, she's a vendor partner. And I'm asking you, when you're looking for people to support you in your business, don't say, "Hey, let me go with this mama because she's cheap." Go with people that care about your business. Just like we talked earlier about creating a criteria for who you want to be your coach or your mentor, I want to also invite you to have a similar criteria for any vendor partner. Now, what's a vendor partner? There's somebody you give money to. Now, my mailman's a vendor partner. I don't give him money, but I do give him a big tip at the end of the year, and I give him snacks frequently because I want him to do and keep doing a great job for me. So vendor partners are people that help you get the job done in your business. And then the other thing is, you want to look at your team, and your team might be made up of vendor partners. I have an on-the-ground assistant. I have an admin virtual assistant. I have someone that runs my CRM, my client management system, gets all the emails out. And I have a marketing person. And none of them are full-time. They work about half-time, except for my on-the-ground assistant that just comes 2 days a week. Now, you could have them work 3 hours a month when you're getting started, but you want to pick people that meet your criteria, that can serve you and support you in your business. And I'm going to give you a couple things that are on my criteria that I invite you to embrace for your criteria. One, I'm looking for a positive disposition, meaning that they have a disposition of being uplifting, that they're not depresso or complaino all the time. They're solution focused. This is another criteria. They have a genuine desire to serve me, serve my clients. They have integrity. Integrity, my friends, that's number one. They're good communicators. They're good at communicating with you. They're self-starters. I mentioned Anne-Marie, who's my on-the-ground assistant. 90% of the time when she shows up to help me, I'm teaching a class, because she works on Monday and Tuesdays, and Mondays I'm teaching 3 classes. Does she sit down and wait for me to get done? No. Or does she start herself? Of course she does, because she's a self-starter. That's somebody you want on your team. These are some of the criteria that I use that I invite you to embrace for your business. The other thing is that you want descriptions, and we don't call them job descriptions because you're not hiring employees. But when you're getting started as an entrepreneur, usually you start with contractors, but you want role descriptions. So we have descriptions for everybody's role of what their job is or what their responsibilities are, so that it's clear. And this is also important, my friends, because the people might change, but the role stays the same and evolves. And you want to every year review the role descriptions. Of course, every year you review your confidentiality agreement, you review your code of conduct. By the way, super tip alert, super tip alert. Anybody on my team who has any client contact, they have signed a code of conduct. Because when you say to somebody, be professional, that means something different to everybody. So what does that mean to you? Because you want your brand reflected in anyone that is touching your clients in any way. That is very, very important. A code of conduct. Also, of course, you need a confidentiality agreement with anyone that's on your team, because they may become aware of things going on in your business, and you want to make sure they're keeping that to themselves. Very, very important. So let's talk about a couple other things here. My friends, scaling your business means scaling your team. And when I went from 100K to 300K in my business many, many years ago, there were two things that I did. One was I got my first assistant. And the second one, I started running group programs instead of just doing one-on-one coaching and professional training. That really, really catapulted my business. And I've continued with that. And the reason why I love groups, those of you that are counselors, coaches, group programs are easy for people to get started with you. They also get community. And one of the things that's happened this year or this past year with our pandemic is people have realized more and more how important community is. And when somebody says to me, well, Caterina, do you work with people one-on-one? I say, yeah, I have some one-on-one clients, but it's way better to be with me in a group, because then you get not just me, you get this whole community of like-minded, like-hearted women on a mission to support you. So my friends, if you have been thinking about doing group programs, run, do not walk to get started on them. Very, very important. Couple other things I want to talk about related to scaling. One of the things that we've seen with the pandemic lifestyle, none of us knew or expected that we were going to be in the pandemic situation for as long as we are. And in most of our states, we're still here. I'm in San Francisco, where I'm hoping to get vaccinated tomorrow, but we're still not open. And I took my business, I was already doing virtual programs. I moved everything virtual, but here's what I want to tell you. I have a center in San Francisco. I have a brick and mortar place where I would do my workshops, and other ladies would come and they could rent the place. And we also did hybrid at the same time. But I have had a center that has been dark for a year. I've been paying all the expenses for a year for my center, and there's been not one event there. I'm telling you this because nobody anticipated that they would have to shut down their business or pivot their business for over a year, as many of us have had to do. Fortunately, I had plenty of surplus. We had a great year last year. I had plenty of surplus that the monthly expenses did not bother me, and of course did not force me to have to close my doors forever. They've been closed temporarily. I'm saying this to you because too many women are running their business without financial surplus. And if you do not have tons of money in the bank, most experts will say 6 months of operating expenses, which means if it costs you $10,000 a month to run your business, you better have at least $60,000 liquid that you could access instantly. Now, if you don't have that, then you want to make sure that you have outstanding credit, and you want to go to your bank and you want to get a line of credit, even if you don't need it, if you have good credit. If you don't have good credit, my beautiful friends, clean up your credit, because your line of credit is your safety net. For many years, I published books, and the ladies would take 6 months to pay for their book program with me. We gave everybody 300 books, which means that when we printed books, it cost me over $20,000. Until I gave my $20,000 to the print broker, he did not run the presses. Now, sometimes I used my line of credit for that because I knew the ladies were paying over the next few months. The money wasn't in the door yet. That's how I did it, and it worked great. If you do not have a line of credit and something happens in your business, it could force you to close, or it could force you to get high interest loans. So let's be very prudent about the financial health of our business and make sure your credit is outstanding, or set that as a goal. Get a line of credit and build up surplus in your business. Remember, you want to run your business like a business. So that means you're paying yourself first, but there's still plenty of surplus in case something happens like what's happened this last year, or if you need a new car right away. I remember one day, and this is during the pandemic last year, I'm teaching all my classes virtual, and my computer died. And I took it to the Apple store, and they said it's going to be a week to fix it. Well, guess what? I was teaching 2 classes or 3 classes the next day. So what did I do? I bought another computer. I guess I could have borrowed somebody's computer, but I thought, well, you know what? It doesn't hurt me to have a backup computer. That cost me $2,500 unexpected expense. That wasn't a problem because plenty of surplus. So these are 3 important things I want to make sure you're doing if you want to grow and thrive financially in your business, have excellent or get excellent credit, get a line of credit. And the third one is build surplus. And by the way, you want to have a relationship with your banker. What do I mean about a relationship with your banker? My sister has a cafe in my neighborhood where I live, the cafe that I used to run. My father owns a laundromat, and they bank at a bank that's about a block from my house. And they're always on me. They're like, Caterina, why aren't you banking over there? What are you going to that other bank? I go to a bank in another city. Of course, I don't go there. I do all banking virtual. You know what? I'm still doing business with that same bank for 12 years because everybody at that bank knows my business. If I call and I say, hey, I need something, they do it for me right away. There was check fraud once where somebody took a huge check I wrote and they washed the check and they put a different name on it. And guess what? My bank caught it because they always ask me first. That is the kind of relationship you want with your banker. If you do not have that, then you go get one at your current bank or you get a new bank because nobody's doing you a favor, my friend, managing your money and not giving you VIP treatment. And by the way, let's just pause here and let's take a deep breath because this is something else I want to say. As women, I want you to expect VIP treatment from all your vendors. And when you don't get it, I want you to ask for it because a complaint is an unstated request. So if you're complaining, hey, my so-and-so, they're not doing a good job for me, then you have 2 choices. Talk to them or go get another vendor. And my recommendation is you talk to them first. I remember years ago in my business, I had a vendor who was great at her thing, what she was doing for me. But you know what? She was not responsive. Remember, we said earlier when we talked about the criteria that they're responsive, which means they communicate with you, they get right back to you. But before I went to get somebody else, I said, hey, my friend, I love working with you. I love what you do for me. But what I don't love is sometimes it takes you 3 or 4 days to get back to me. And as a result of that, that pushes my project out because I'm not getting what I need from you in a timely manner. And that was, my friends, that was over 20 years ago. And we still do business together all the time because she responded to my request to be more communicative and more responsive. So I want to say this to you that a lot of women put up with a lack of excellent service. Maybe you think, well, my account's not that big or whatever it is. No, you are in business and I want you to not demand, I want you to request VIP service from anybody you're giving money to. Did you hear that? Because if anybody's making you feel like they're doing you a favor, taking your money, alert, that's not how it's supposed to be. I remember many years ago, I had a web guy. I said, hey, I need you to change the dates on my website because I've added another workshop. And he said to me, oh, I can get to that in about 3 weeks. I was like, okay, no, you're never going to get to that because your lack of VIP service is going to mean that you're not a good vendor partner moving forward. Are you with me, my friends? The thing is that you can teach people how to do tasks, but there are certain things that are harder to teach. Attitude is hard to teach. Genuine caring is hard to teach. So if they're not getting back to you when they're just getting started working with you, then they may not be responsive once they get started with you. One of the things that goes along with scaling your business is absolutely scaling your brand. And what I mean by that is that every couple of years, you want to look at your brand and see if it's time for a rebrand. Because another guiding principle I'd like to invite you to embrace is that we want to run our business for where we're going, not where we are. That's a really important guiding principle. Run your business for where you're going. So that means that's why you want to grow your team even when you're not quite ready. Run your business for where you're going. And just if I could say a little bit about brand, your appearance, your behavior, and your communication is all a part of your brand. And that's also not just yours, but anybody that's on your team. Let's take a moment and think about your brand. Does your brand reflect you? By the way, your picture, update it every couple years. There's nothing worse than meeting somebody and having them not look anything like their picture. It's time for me. My picture is about 1.5 years old. And I like to think I look better these days anyway. So it's time for a new photo shoot. Always, always be an authentic reflection of yourself. Very, very important. Sometimes I see people's pictures and you wouldn't recognize them because they're so touched up. Remember that we're not here to be models. We're here for people to resonate with us. And that's why our authenticness is a very important part of our brand. I really want to invite you to take a look at your business. And are you doing speaking, selling, serving, strategy, and self-care, or are you doing everything? Remember, those are the 5 things that are your job, and everything else, that's what your team is for. Also, ask yourself, have you been running your business for where you're going, or have you been running your business for where you used to be? Additionally, are you running your business like a business? And I say this to women because sometimes they're not all in their business. Now, you get to have your business be any way you want. If you just want to work 1 day a week, that's fine with me, as long as your business is thriving because you have a team. But let's not confuse having a hobby with having a business. A business is about profit. And if you don't know your numbers, then you don't know if you're profitable. I have one lady, she's a client now, but she said she had a business for a few years and she realized she wasn't making any money because she was reinvesting everything. And it was a nice education, but it wasn't a good business. My friends, this is Caterina Rando. You are listening to the Expand Your Fempire podcast. Make sure you've connected with us on Facebook in our Thriving Women in Business group, that you've connected with us on Clubhouse in our Thriving Women in Biz group, that you're following me on Instagram, that you're on our list so you know about all our events. And if you haven't downloaded your Expand Your Fempire app for your phone, Run, Don't Walk, well, you don't got to go anywhere. Just pick up your phone and do that. All right, my friends, remember, you've got massive value to bring. There's a lifetime supply of people to serve. Be loud, be proud, take action so you can sell more, you can serve more, and most importantly, you can uplift more lives. Talk to you next time. Bing, bing.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando.